From the way that the John Wick franchise was too popular to just let go to the epic fight scenes at a nice hotel in the trailer, here's everything you need to know about the upcoming John Wick TV spin-off. Starting with how the world built in the John Wick franchise will carry on in the spin-off. If I'm being completely honest, John Wick is probably the best action franchise ever. It's one of the most praised action series, and Keanu Reeves, who stars in it, is one of the most well-liked leading men in Hollywood history. After 3 movies, the series has made more than $500 million around the world. Each new entry almost doubles the earnings of the one before it. That shows that people are getting more and more excited about each new release and are almost dying for more violence. The action is over the top, but still very enjoyable. Chad Stahelski's time as the martial arts stunt planner and Keanu's stunt double in the first 3 Matrix movies gives you a good idea of what this star can do and how to show it. With Wick's story concluded, there's a big question mark about how the rest of the crew will continue. Even though the action scenes are great, the mood and world building are what make this movie stand out from other action hero movies. The neon-lit underworld of killers, gangsters, and the businesses run by strange people who make money off of them seem to be everywhere. The Continental Hotel in New York City is one of these places that gets a lot of attention in each movie, and that's what this new spin-off will be focusing on, which is why I thought we'd look at the place a little more closely. The Continental is a safe haven in a world full of dirty jobs. People can go to the bar, have a meal, or stay in a room for as long as they can pay. They can use all of the hotel's services and benefits as long as they agree to be off-duty while on the property. If they don't, management will get angry with them. Winston, played by Ian McShane, is a mysterious and kind man who runs the hotel.
What did you think was going to happen? What did you expect? Huh? Did you really think this day was never going to come?
He's polite and friendly, but he has a sharp look in his eye and a sense of ease that shows how powerful he is. McShane's performance is both flashy and smart, and it made people curious about Winston's long history. How did he even become the guy we see on our screens? Back in 2017, it was reported that there would be a spin-off series based on John Wick, but not much else was said at the time. It's been almost 4 years since the show was announced, and it's only been in the past few months that we've started hearing about the cast and the plot. So by now, there's quite a lot of information out there, which brings me to the story itself. What's up with the Continental? It's a prequel story that takes place in 1970s New York during a sanitation strike that caused trash to flood the city. At first, it was said that the series would take place at the same time as the movies and that Keanu Reeves would make cameos. Instead, it's going back to the beginning. In April 2021, Lionsgate TV chairman Kevin Beggs shared the show will follow a young Winston on his way to becoming the caretaker of New York's Continental Hotel. Since this series and the movies came out 40 years apart, talk of recasts is already getting around. He explained that the show will basically focus on how Winston and his Confederates got into the hotel in the first place. It'll add a lot of context to the place we see decades into the future in John Wick. Let's be real, the show has a lot of vision. The Continental has a lot of hype to live up to. Between expectations, recasting famous characters, and the quality of action shows like Game of Thrones and Gangs of London, even Stahelski talked about his plans for the show. He mentioned wanting to give it a shot just to prove that he can make a TV series just as good as feature-length action movies. It wouldn't just be a great thing to add to his resume, it'll also be something that we'll love when it finally releases. A prequel also raises the question of who we'll get to see in the past. Who are the people in the Continental? Colin Waddell steps into the shoes of Winston Scott. He'll play Winston when he doesn't have all the power he's gained since he became became king. Waddell will be joined by Ayomide Adegun, who'll play a young Sharon. Lance Riddick played Sharon in the movies, and fans loved him. So it looks like he's got some big shoes to fill. Peter Green's the last member of the new group. He wears the hat of Uncle Charlie, the expert at getting rid of dead bodies who never says much. Mel Gibson, who plays Cormac, is the most famous person on the set of the series. We don't know much about his character, but the famous actor and director is joining the cast with a wide range of experience. In fact, The Continental gave Adegun his first acting credit on IMDb. The rest of the cast is made up of not-so-famous actors. Apart from them, the team behind the show is pretty solid too. The writers and directors all have enough experience to create a great show. Greg Coolidge, who's best known for his comic writing, and Kirk Ward are in charge of The Continental. Other writers who worked on the main franchise have also worked on this show. Aside from the characters, it'll also have a lot of the same creative minds as movies. The show will be run by Chad Stahelski, Derek Kolstad, David Leitch, Paul Wernick, Rhett Reese, and Sean Simmons. Originally, Chad Stahelski was going to direct one of the episodes, but now that Albert Hughes is going to direct the first and last episodes, and an unknown director is going to take care of the middle one, I was already pretty hyped to see more of this universe on screen, but the teaser trailer dropped in April really caught everyone's attention. It's got everything that we loved about John Wick. In a new trailer set in 1970s New York City, longtime fans of the series will find exactly what made them love the movies in the first place. Yep, I'm talking about fight scenes with a variety of weapons. There's a nice hotel, some handsome guys, and blood too. The action-packed trailer will add to how great the John Wick world is shaping up to be. It's basically a series consisting of 3 episodes that take place before the first John Wick movie, and the production company Peacock posted the video on their official Twitter account. The story of the miniseries revolves around the Continental Hotel chain, which has been a big part of all the John Wick movies and is where hitmen and murderers stay. Still, it hasn't all been smooth sailing. The Continental was criticized for casting Mel Gibson in it. Like I said before, Gibson's one of the actors who will be in the Continental. Because of this, some people on social media are now speaking out against the show because of his racial and sexist outbursts. He's going to play a figure named Cormac in the series. Of course, he wasn't in the first teaser video for the show, and no information about his character has been released. But that hasn't stopped the negative reactions from coming to light. Mel Gibson has, of course, been able to come back in some ways over the years. Even though he's been in a lot of trouble over the last few decades, he still managed to direct and act in a lot of projects. Some of them have done pretty well, like his film Hacksaw Ridge, which got him a nod for an Oscar for Best Director. Even though people are upset with his inclusion, we'll have to wait and see how it affects the popularity of the series. That's all for everything you need to know about the upcoming John Wick TV spinoff.